Right. So, Andy, is it great to see that fans are coming back into stadiums?
Yeah, of course. I think fans have been missed. I think we all know that. So yeah, it's definitely nice to see them all come back and start enjoying the football again.
Yeah, and obviously we're approaching Euro 2021. I mean, what do you make of England's chances, I suppose, first?
Quarters, semis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think there's better teams than England. I know everyone keeps talking about football's coming home and, the tournament's in England, so that gives them a better opportunity. For me personally, it makes no difference.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever tournaments played, you've got at least the best team or considered to be the best team, to win the tournament. England do have quality, but just looking around, I think there's just stronger teams in England.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is that when you saw Gareth Southgate's squad announcement, was there anyone that you thought was unlucky to miss out?
Yeah, I did. I mentioned I thought Danny Ings was, for me personally, I thought he'd definitely get him. Because if you look at the whole squad now, there's actually 2 centre forwards.
Yeah.
Which I find strange, especially when you can go with 4 right backs. They're all quality right backs, but when you can go with 4 right backs and only 2 centre forwards, and when I'm looking at what Danny Ings has done, not just this season, but over previous seasons as well. Yeah, I know he's had his injury problem. He always scores goals. And even in the provisional squad, he didn't even get in that, and he put Watkins in front of him. And that I was mystified by that. I'm going to be very honest.
Yeah.
I think Watkins he's had an honest season at Aston Villa. But as Gareth actually saying that Watkins is in front of Danny Ings. And sometimes in football, you don't understand people's decisions, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Did you think Ward-Prowse was unlucky as well from Southampton?
Yeah, due to the fact that Jordan's been injured for, 4 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think England have had this history of taking injured players to tournaments, knowing that if they do play, the possibilities of them breaking down are great. So I'm strange by both decisions of Jordan and Harry as well. We can talk about brilliant in the dressing room and X, Y, Z, but once you're on that football pitch, you've got nothing to do with the dressing room anymore. You've all got to come together on the pitch. So I'm very strange about that.
Yeah, but I suppose who are your favourites to win the competition? Of France team to beat? Yeah,
France. If you look at their team. Possibly minus the goalkeeper. If you look at their team in every position, they're going to be difficult to beat. I think Belgium will be up there as well, but I think France, what they've got in midfield and what they've got up front, obviously bringing Benzema back now as well, they'll have a great opportunity.
Yeah. I think Italy might be thereabouts, just because defensive, they just don't concede goals. I look at their last 7 games, they haven't let a goal in, and they've got people that can score now as well, but they've probably missed the last couple of competitions.
Yeah, I think they're back to a typical Italian team, aren't they? Defensively, very, very strong. And if they do get a goal up, to break them down is going to be very, very tough. So fair play to Mancini for, addressing them like that.
Yeah. Do you think, as a striker yourself, and the whole sort of speculation at the minute of Harry Kane with his future sort of up in the air, do you worry that that's going to affect him in this competition, or do you think he'll just be able to let that go for a while?
Well, I'll be honest, I don't see why it should affect him. It's just, that's his club situation. He's away from his club situation now. So I don't see why it would affect him. I can't see it affecting him at all, to be brutally honest. I've said on record this is why I think for Harry Kane to find himself in these positions, for me personally, it's a strange predicament to find himself in. I think before he signed his last contract at Tottenham, he was in a position of strength, and I said, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I've got no sympathy for him. I haven't. Because anyone who signs a 6-year contract at Tottenham, You know, seriously, what do you expect? You expect Tottenham to win the league in those next 6 years? It's not going to happen. I mean, I'm not being disrespectful. It's not going to happen. So what? I don't know. He's 3 years into a 6-year contract and then decides like you want to move on. I mean, man, if you're going to take Tottenham and Daniel Levy's money, it's not going to make it easy for you to walk out the front door.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't move on, you know, he put himself in that position, nobody else.
Yeah. Well, obviously, you know, you moved on. I'm a Newcastle fan. I know you moved on from Newcastle to go to Manchester United. Do you see why he wants the move?
Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah.
You know, but before you sign that last 6-year contract, yeah, what is your thought process?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you know you want to go on to win titles, you want to go on to win the European Cup, or sorry, the Champions League or the FA Cup, whatever, you know, you look at Inter and say to yourself, okay, what have Tottenham done over the last 30 years? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Then I think you got your answers in that. So if you look at what Tottenham's history has been, you know, I don't think they've won anything, is it in 10 years, 15 years? That was a League Cup. So if you look at that and then you turn around and say to yourself, right, I can actually see us competing against Chelsea, Manchester City, Manchester United, Arsenal, well, not really Arsenal, yeah, Liverpool, yeah. That's why I'm going to sign a new 6-year contract. I think anyone who look at him turn around and say, do you need your head tested? You know, because, you know, virtually every decent player that has played for Tottenham has moved on to go on to win things. You know, Berber, Carrick, obviously Teddy. You know, they've all played for Tottenham. Yeah, but they've all turned around and said, hold up, we're never going to win anything. So I might as well move away, go somewhere else, win something, and at any stage I can come back or whatever it may be. So like I said, I don't understand why he done it. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, was it? It's 2 years into 3 years into a 6-year deal. You know, 25, 24 when you sign. I don't understand it, seriously. I've got to be very, very honest. I don't understand.
Yeah. No, I get that, absolutely. I mean, do you think, your old team United, do you think they'll go for Kane, or do you think he more likely end up at a City or a Chelsea?
I think he'll end up more at Manchester City.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think he's 20, he's going to be 28, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'm up to 28. If you look at the sums of it, the figure is going to be, I don't know, 120, 150 million, whatever it's going to be. And on top of that, you know, you've got wages on top of that. And if Manchester United need to get back to where they were, you know, it's going to be more than Harry Kane that makes him get there. You know, we have to be honest. Not one player's going to make a team. These days, it doesn't happen. You know, because there's so many good teams, especially at that top half of the table. So one player is not going to make it all of a sudden, oh yeah, we're going to win the title, we're going to win the Champions League and things like that.
Yeah. So
150 million pound, 120 million pound on one player, it's a lot of money, knowing that you possibly need three to four more. So I would be surprised, but I mostly see him go to Manchester City. Possibilities of him going to Chelsea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and talking about Man United, I suppose, have you seen progress with them under Ollie the last couple of years? I mean, they're second in the league, you know, not too, quite a way away from City. But then watch them in the Europa League final. Was there any excuses for them to lose that game?
I think that's with Manchester United, you know, inconsistent, very, very inconsistent. And once you find consistency, naturally football becomes a little bit easier because you're winning more football matches. It's simple as that. And in Man United, you know, 1 week they could play real, real good. And next week you look at them and say, is that the same team that played the week before or midweek? Because they've been so inconsistent. I remember when they went top of the league, you know, there was talk about possibility of them going on to win the league. Then all of a sudden it's like, I'm not sure if they didn't believe in themselves or whatever it was. From the top of the league, the form was really, really poor. And then for Manchester City to come surging through the league, like, you know, I've never seen that before. And I can only go back to obviously when I was playing. I don't think any team would have been capable of doing that. I think it was in 8th position, from 8th to the top of the league, and then dominate the rest of the league for the rest of the season. Wow. It's a testament to them, but I think that says a lot for a lot of the teams that are around them as well, that Chelsea lost for, Liverpool lost for, Manchester United lost for. When's that happening in the Premier League, that every team vying to win the Premier League loses form and one team comes surging through the league and then end up winning the league at a canter? It doesn't happen. But like I said, fair play to Manchester City. But Man United, they're a little bit away.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, sort of going back to Euro 2021 and I suppose at the minute there's a lot of noise about taking the knee. It's been met with a minority of fans booing it and things like that. So I've seen some fans on Twitter and stuff saying, well, it's been over a year now, we should be able to move on from this. Why is it still happening? But is it, are people just not getting it that we need to keep making this stand until there's actual change?
So my question would be to that answer, move on to where? Ignorance is bliss. And what makes me laugh a lot of the time as well, not a lot, a small minority of punters, supporters come to the games and, feel like they can vent all their frustration of the week, what's gone in front of them, on professional footballers regarding skin colour or whatever it is that you think. You see it and think, oh, man, I feel so much better now. Yeah. So what about the individual that you've abused? How are they supposed to feel? But like I said, everyone wants to brush under the carpet. Now, I'll just get on with it, Warrior. We've had enough. Okay, so you've had enough. But individuals that you're throwing all this out, what about them? They get labelled, the prima donnas, they get all this money. So that's fine then, yeah? So the prima donnas get all this money so you can just verbally abuse whoever you want and think, oh, yeah, that's the right thing to be done. No, it's not. And we keep talking about education. When you're an adult, you've been educated. You've been educated from you was young. So if you don't understand it now, you're never going to understand it. And ultimately, the next generation coming up will do exactly the same thing because they think what you've done is right as well. So for me, it's all a nonsense. When people talk about, oh, yeah, we get behind our team, we get behind our country, but before the game, you actually want to boo the individuals that are trying to get a result for you. And if they score a goal, black, white, yellow, blue, whatever, you're actually cheering them because they scored a goal for your respective country. It doesn't spell sense. So when we're talking about something a little bit simple, I do, because ultimately there's a lot of intelligent people involved in doing this as well. But it's your perception of what you think is right and wrong.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, people say move on as well, but it's like the Europa League final was only a few weeks ago, right? And I saw Marcus Rashford tweeted, got about 70 racist comments after the final. So, it's still, I mean, I know social media escalates it, but it's happening on and off the pitch still.
Yeah. And that however you look at it, that is a reflection on society. Let's not forget this, we can't just heap it on football, because that is society in general. People believe now in society you can say whatever you want and get on with it. And if there's any kind of retaliation, an individual gets told, oh, you're this, you're that, or whatever it may be. No, it's not. So unless we try and tidy all this stuff up in society, what goes into football will continue. But the strangest thing is, until you come back so strongly in society, that's why they believe, we can do or say whatever we want to say at football. A lot of it on social media, keyboard warriors. Out of 10 people who sent a message or whatever, if 10 of them could actually stand up and front up to that individual that they're throwing abuse at, I would be surprised if one did it. You're anonymous. When you're anonymous, you're powerful. But when you got to face up to reality, no one wants to do that. Yeah.
And did you have to deal with it? I guess, social media wasn't too much as a player that you had to deal with, but I suppose, did you have to deal with it whilst you were on the field from fans? And how would you deal with that? Is it something that you just had to, at the time, you know, because it wasn't something that was a sort of campaign as we are now? Is it something that you just had to kind of let it go?
I think my generation was a lot difficult. I mean, not difficult, a lot different to what it is now. I think they're more vocal. I was vocal about it when I played. I'm not going to go on there and let anyone abuse me due to the colour of my skin. Mm-hmm. No, it's not happening. It's not happening. And it's not easy. Of course, it's not easy. And I appreciate everything what this generation is doing. But without the generations that have gone before, it's not possible for these boys to have that stand. So yeah, it is what it is. But they just got to keep persevering. Don't accept it. Mm. That's one thing you can't do. Once you accept it, you're done. You know, so you got to keep moving forward, as we keep saying. You know, keep fighting and keep fighting hard because you have a platform to do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what have you made of Marcus Rashford off the field? I mean, he's been doing amazing things and looking like someone that can be a really positive role model for younger kids, which I think we need right now.
Yeah, I think what Marcus has done off the field has been brilliant. Mm-hmm. You know, but with Marcus, I think what he's got to do now, he's got to concentrate on what he's doing on the field. Mm-hmm. You know, I think for Marcus this season, he's been really inconsistent. Now, the first thing that's going to be labelled at him is what he's doing off the football pitch. You know, I think if you asked him in the Europa final, he was disappointing.
Yeah.
You know, so for whatever you do off the football pitch, away from football, you will be always judged for what you do on the football pitch for when you play football. You know, so everything counteracts everything. So what he's doing on the football pitch will counteract what he's doing off the football pitch, vice versa. You know, and people were quick to let him know that he didn't play particularly well in that final. You know, but he needs to concentrate more on his football than all his off the field stuff.
Yeah. Does he start for England for you? I mean, you think you got Grealish, Foden, Sterling. Does he start?
I'll be honest. I don't know. I really don't know. When you look at what England have in those positions now, and if Marcus was in good form, I'd turn around and say, yeah, good chance. Mm-hmm. Now, I think Gareth's got so many options. Grealish, Foden, Sterling. I know a lot of people had a go at Sterling, regarding his form, but I think Sterling has turned around his England career unbelievably from, 4 years ago? You know, England go out, was it the Euros? Mm-hmm. I think it was the Euros. You know, and it was all down to Sterling why England went out the Euros. You know? And then he turned that around to being a key player for England. So I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't start. But then again, you never know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, talking about, I've got it recorded. There's an amazing new documentary on Sky about United and especially that amazing treble team that you were a part of. For you, when you think about that, probably the greatest Premier League side there was. I mean, is there anyone you look at your best 11 and you think you could have any player from any era that you could bring into that team? Do you bring anyone in?
No.
No,
and I get asked this quite a bit, and I always say no. I'll never ever be disrespectful to the players that I played with. That team won it because we were the best team. I mean, we can always talk about, I'd have brought him in. Why don't you brought anybody in? Because you achieved what you wanted to achieve. Your objective in the end was to win the treble, and you've done it with those same players. You know, so you can't win like 2 trebles in one. Or the only thing you can do is score more goals.
Yeah.
Win more matches. So for me personally, no. It was the best team, and it was the best team for a reason. You touched on it there. Possibly the best team in Premier League history. I genuinely do believe it is.
I do.
But then people turn around and say I'm being biased. You watch Man City and Pep produce these teams. Yeah, we have done. Liverpool, not last season, season before. Very, very good team. But I genuinely do believe what the Premier League was back then was a hell of a lot stronger than what it is now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you had that incredible partnership with Dwight York, and people talk about the best strikers. Do you think he's quite an underrated striker? I mean, talking about some of the partnerships there are in Premier League history, and he's sort of not been mentioned up there with like yourself, Shearer, Henry, and Aguero, Kane, but he was a really good, prolific striker.
With Dwight?
Yeah.
Look, I think Dwight proved throughout his career, just how good he is as a player. But let's not forget in all this, the crazy thing is everyone's perception is whether they think he's the best or good players or whatever. And you touch on Yorkie there, people look at him and say, oh yeah, he had one good season at Man United, X, Y, and Z. What about the season he had at Aston Villa? And his time at Manchester United. He was a very good player, but it is what it is. When it comes to perceptions of who people believe are good centre forwards in the Premier League, I laugh now because I just try to say it is what it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, one thing I did want to ask you as well is, like, obviously you played under Fergie and you had the coach there, Steve McLaren, and Steve McLaren is kind of, he got a lot of criticism as a manager, I suppose. As a Newcastle fan, he got a lot of stick as England manager and some of the other places he's been as. But I mean, what was he like for you as a player, as a coach, Steve McLaren?
Steve was a good coach, real good coach, and I think he's possibly one of those ones. A good coach, but not a good manager. You have loads of people not loads of people like that, but you have loads of individuals who go into management and people try and say, nah, he's a really good coach. I mean, top coach, but not a good manager. I think that's possibly what Steve was. Steve was a real good coach. His sessions were enjoyable. He had always something different, always mix something up. And I enjoyed when he was coaching us, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed his sessions. Yeah, I think when you become a senior pro, you will always test people, but really good coach. Really good coach. Sorry. Sessions were always good, intense, and always knew what he wanted. So, yeah, I enjoyed working with him.
Yeah. And I suppose I've got to ask you, as a Newcastle fan, what you've made of Steve Bruce as a manager. I mean, again, someone that has come under a lot of criticism under the fans. I've been up and down with him. I think sometimes he's been very harshly treated, and then sometimes I've seen our performance where we've won 2 in 20 and been like, what's going on? But then he has had good runs as well, and he's got manager of the month, and he hasn't. But the fans just don't seem like he can ever win the fans over.
See, I had this conversation the other day because I was up in Newcastle the other day and had this conversation. I don't think Steve's record is any different than Rafael Benitez. Yeah,
right, at Newcastle, yeah.
But Rafael Benitez was held as an absolute god. I don't think his football at Newcastle was attractive. If you look at some of the signings he had at Newcastle, it wasn't attractive. But like I said, he was held as an absolute god. And Steve, he's gone in. Naturally, I think the first thing at Newcastle is to keep in the Premier League. Yeah, his football at times has been real down. I'm not going to lie. But in the end, I think Newcastle finished 12th.
Yeah.
Comfortable in the end. Comfortable. Back end of the season, played some good football, scoring goals. We had a few injuries to key players at the wrong time. But yeah, he's kept Newcastle in the Premier League again. You turn and say to yourself, he must have done something right.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Football's a strange game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, what have you made of Alain Saint-Maximin for Newcastle? He's kind of been, I suppose, along with, Mike Ashley does get stick as Yoda, but he has backed Steve Bruce. He's brought in Callum Wilson, Alain Saint-Maximin, Ryan Fraser. He's brought some, Premier League pretty decent players in. But I mean, Alain Saint-Maximin has been the highlight, I suppose, for Newcastle and looks really real quality.
Yeah, I think looking at him, he's just an individual now who needs consistency. He was injured quite a bit not back in the season, last season. And he got himself fit. He's another one, just consistency. You don't know what he's going to give you week to week.
Yeah.
Once he finds that, I think it's going to be difficult for Newcastle to keep him.
Yeah.
Consistency is everything in football. It's no different to getting results week in, week out. As an individual, you want to be consistent as a player.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to talk about your book because I've read it quite recently, your Fast Forward book, and it's It's a really good read. I guess it's about having that a lot of self-belief and that kind of winning mentality to not give up. I mean, what made you kind of want to share your story so much?
I'm blaming one of my pals, to be fair. Because I had no real desire to do another book. I was just getting on with life, naturally going through what I was going through. And then my mate said to me, have you thought about doing another book? And I said to him, no, not really. He goes, I've got someone who would write it for you. So we had a chat, we had a laugh and that. And I said to him, all right, go on and I'll do it. And then he just snowballed from there. And it picked up momentum. And then I ended up doing it. And for me personally, it was very therapeutic in the end, doing the book. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing it. And then once it's been out there, I think naturally, people always have a perception of whoever it is. But I think since my books come out and a lot of people have read it, I think a lot of things have changed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I suppose, like, how do you, when you're having those moments of, am I good enough to be at the top level, or self-doubt creeps in? How have you ever sort of dealt with any kind of, whether it be criticism from outside influences or any self-doubt? How do you overcome that?
For me personally, criticism, I've always had that. I look back on my career now, that's been part and parcel of my career. Whatever I've done in my career is never ever seen or perceived to be good enough. Yeah, but yeah, I've achieved everything and more than a lot of other people that they laud. So that's again, that's why I laugh so much now, But it's all about perceptions. And what I started to understand, if I don't give you, i.e. media or whoever it is, if I don't give you what you want, yeah, you're a problem. Mm-hmm. So if you're a problem, I'll start making all kind of nonsense and whatever, and then they feed it to the outside world, and everyone starts getting this perception of you. So, oh, it's this, it's that. Oh, where did you hear that? Oh, I read it in a newspaper. Oh, so newspaper was the gospel. Yeah, but they must be right because they put it in the paper. So then you get into that mode. And like I said, I played the majority of my career in that mode, I didn't really have a great relationship with the media because for me, it wasn't for me to give myself to the media. My job was to play football, and to try and get my team 3 points to try and propel ourselves forward, not to sit down and court the media every other day and try and talk about this, that, or whatever. That's not my job. As a professional footballer, is to play football, to try and score goals, and to play to the best of my ability, not to have a press conference with the media every single day. Mm-hmm. That defeats the object, But then the agenda starts on what their perceptions are. You are an individual. You don't talk to me, so I think you're X, Y, Z. Oh, we just have to get on with things. It's not something that you're gonna fall asleep with tonight and think about. Oh my God, no, never bothered me. Never bothered me.
Yeah. In your book as well, something I didn't realise is that you had, I suppose, a bit of a fractious relationship with Teddy Sheringham. But I suppose, like, you never would have thought, as a Newcastle fan, I always remember the infamous Lee Bowyer, Kieran Dyer scrap against Aston Villa on the pitch. But on the pitch, you guys, even if you weren't friends and didn't get on off the field, on the pitch, it was always very professional, just getting the 3 points. If either of you scored, celebrated, you were able to put that aside.
You have to be professional. You have to do. It doesn't matter what you do. And I've had this conversation many times. It don't matter what you're doing live for, whatever business you're in, or everyone doesn't have to get on with everyone. But we try and make it, and I'll say one of my pals, we don't live in a fluffy world, but my pal thinks we live in this fluffy world. No, it doesn't happen. If the world was so fluffy, why is there so much going on in the world? We don't live there, so we have to try and do the right thing. So, for me personally, I didn't see eye to eye, but that doesn't mean that when we enter the field of play, I take those problems onto the football pitch. It doesn't work. And if your end goal is the same objective, it can't work. Mm-hmm. So you cross the white line, you play football to win, you walk off the pitch, you get on with things as per normal. And that's the way I looked at it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, would you celebrate if he scored?
Yeah, he's my teammate.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm not a big begrudgeful individual. Sorry, so I wouldn't worry about. Oh yeah, if he's no.
Mm-hmm.
If he scores a goal, Man United went on to win 1-0. I'm buzzing because we've got 3 points, and the objective coming the season is to be the best team after 38 games, and it's as simple as that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, is there a goal of yours out of all the goals you scored that's a special one for you? I mean, I always, when I think of one of your goals, there's the one for Blackburn you scored against Liverpool. I think it was on Boxing Day or something.
Yeah.
I remember that. I mean, is there one that particularly like, yeah, that's the goal that...
No, I enjoy them all. I've got to be very, very honest, you know. Yeah, well, of course that stands out. Playing at Anfield is a great place to play, but when you look back, and I say to myself, wow, I enjoy playing. I enjoyed all my goals. I have to be very, very honest. That one goes in, no, top bin or whatever, and then I get a tap in from half a yard. It's still only a goal. Mm-hmm. So you got to enjoy it and celebrate like you put one in the top bin every other week.
Yeah. I mean, as a Newcastle fan, I have to ask, I suppose, what was the circumstances of you leaving Newcastle to go to Manchester United? Because it never seemed like you were someone that kind of forced to move or anything like that. I mean, you didn't know too much about it. It just sort of happened, didn't it?
Yeah, it didn't. I mean, sometimes when I've beaten Newcastle, you have that supporters like question you as if I forced them. I didn't force them. Kevin did the move. Kevin believed at that time, you know, he could generate money, big money in that day it was, to move on to Newcastle's next part of their project. I watched a documentary the other day regarding Newcastle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, I watched it, and if you listen to Sir John Hall, he came out and basically said it as well. Kevin decided to sell me. You know, it was a lot of money at the time. He said he could rebuild off it. So if Sir John Hall can come out and say that, obviously Sir John didn't come out and say, I forced the move, but I didn't. Mm-hmm. No, but everything is coming out now. You know, we have the saying, I mean, my parents are from the Caribbean, and they always say the saying was, you know, whatever's in the dark will always come to the light. Mm-hmm. And a lot of things are coming out now. You know, people can make their own objective and make their own minds up now about what's gone on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I have seen, you know, over the last year, you've had your battles off the field as well. I mean, I suppose with lockdown, it was really, really tough for you, right? That sort of isolation.
Yeah, you know, the first isolation wasn't too bad. Mm-hmm. I think it gave me time to reflect on, you know, my career and looking forward and where I'm trying to get to and all those kind of things. You know, yeah, of course at times it was tough because I'm living by myself. But then when I actually took the time to sit down and think, yeah, it was a good thing. The second one was, yeah, that was the toughest one. Yeah, because it seemed to drag, and it was going through the winter as well, and it was dragging on. Mentally, it was tough because just to get up and have the energy to do anything. You know, I think it had the whole country in that mood. No, I can't be bothered mode. I can't be bothered. So yeah, I think that was the toughest part. And I think it was the toughest part because I've known what I've gone through over the last 3 years. I know how tough it's been, and you know, I've known what people have done. You know, when you expect people to be around and they're not around, and they decide that right, I'm jumping ship now. It's, you know, mentally things like that to deal with are tough, and then you go for a lockdown, which is tough as well. So you naturally you do start questioning yourself. But for me, it's been a period of reflection as well. Mm-hmm. You know, a real good period of reflection. You know, nothing's easy, as we know, but you know, it's where you're trying to get to and how you're going to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you have been coaching as well, you know, as part of Sol Campbell's team. And do you see him as a future manager going forward as well? Obviously, he's come out of work at the minute, but from what I've seen, I think I saw an interview of him not too long ago. He's keen to get back into coaching and management.
No, I hope so. I hope he's given an opportunity in that. You said you asked me quite a few questions. And, you know, I read some of the comments regarding Sol, and I just laugh so much. You know, it's gut wrenching when you read some of the comments that people turn around and say. So regarding I read one the other day. An individual actually come out and said, "Oh, why does he think he should be given a job? Why does he think he should be?" He's not saying he should think he should be given a job. He's saying he'd like the opportunity to have a job. Mm-hmm. But the only way you're going to get an opportunity is someone's prepared to give you that chance. If he come out and said, "Oh yeah, I want to get the management, but I don't really want to get a job," you turn and say, "Well, why do you want to do it?" So he's actually coming out and saying, you know, he'd love to get a job. You know, he thinks that he's got something to offer. It would be no different than when you're playing. You come out and say the same thing. Mm-hmm. But then to read some of these comments, you turn and say, so people really that simple. He's not asking, not turning around saying I should be given a job. All he's ever asking for is put him on a level playing field with everybody else. Yeah, and see how I get on.
Yeah.
And that's all we're asking. You know, yeah. But it's like I said, it's perceptions again. One individual, oh yeah, he can get a job because X, Y, Z. Another individual, well, why do you think you should get a job? Well, if we're not on a level playing field, yeah, how you read it is how you want to read it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's going to be difficult for him. I know that. I appreciate that, but like I always say, just keep going. Keep going. Hopefully someone will give you that opportunity.
Yeah. Do you find it a bit astonishing that he still gets stick from Tottenham fans about the Arsenal?
That's so dumb. That is seriously, that is so dumb.
So many players do it. I mean,
yeah, but so this one like actually goes back to the Harry Kane one. Yeah, the Tottenham fans still boo Sol because he went to Arsenal and won things. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is that not progression in your career? If you leave one place and go to another one and you win, if you leave one business and you go to another, you get promoted to a higher position. That's progression. That's what you want in life. Is if the Tottenham fans were saying, well, stay at Tottenham for the rest of your career, win nothing or a League Cup, yeah, and you've had a great career. You've gone to Arsenal, you won a couple of league titles, you know, you won the FA Cup a couple of times, and you got to the Champions League final, yeah. Oh, that's rubbish. We're still going to boo you because you left us to go to Tottenham. I mean, you left Tottenham to go to Arsenal to bet yourself. How dumb is that?
Yeah.
And if you ask any of those punters who are booing, if you had the opportunity to leave your present job now and go to a new job and be promoted to a higher position, are you going to stay where you're going to stay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No one does that.
No. I mean, so many players do it. I mean, there's been a few people that have played for Newcastle and Sunderland. Steve Bruce, he's managed Newcastle, Sunderland, Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday, Villa, Birmingham. I mean, it's people, it's the job, isn't it? And I mean, it does get a bit silly sometimes. Michael Owens played for United, Liverpool. You know, it does get a bit silly sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, everything in life, you always want to try and progress. And it's as simple as that. And if you're not trying to progress, as an individual, you turn and say, so, okay, then what am I trying to do? Because progression in life is natural.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah. I mean, and you've been doing a bit of coaching. Is that something that you want to get back into in terms of coaching at team management?
Looking at it now, even more so now, yeah. I think knowing what we've been through, obviously going through the pandemic over the last year, knowing that tomorrow's not a given. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I keep saying myself now, yeah. More so now, yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. You know, someone gets another job, you know, we go through it, we do the best that we can do, simple as that. Not saying we haven't done that before, but, you know, the jobs that he's taken before be so tough. Mm-hmm. You know, Macclesfield, you know, there's days you turn up and you don't even know where you're training. But he's been good enough to get them and keep them in the league. You know, going to the South End, you go there, you think everything's rosy, then you find out there's an embargo. Mm-hmm. You can't bring players in. You know, you get players out and then realise you can't bring players in, then you play youth team players. You know, that's tough in itself. And then the pandemic comes and, you know, he's not had the opportunity to get back since then. So we're talking over a year. So, yeah, it's a tough one. But, yeah, definitely love to get back into it,
yeah. Do you think it's important to have that experience, though, like managing lower leagues clubs? Because, I mean, you look at Manchester United, Arsenal, arguably the two biggest clubs in the UK, apart from Liverpool as well. But then you have Arteta, it's his first management job. Ollie did a bit with Cardiff and a Norwegian team. But do you think some of these younger managers need to branch out a bit more before having such a big job?
I'll be honest, I think you need to learn your trade.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally, I do genuinely believe you need to learn your trade. It's no different to, when you're playing. Unless you're exceptional, you go straight to the first team.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you go to the reserves, you might have a loan period, and then within time you find yourself in the first team. I think management's the same kind of thing. You got to get, more string to your bows, and then go from there. But if you look at what you just said there, a lot of people get thrust into that, thinking, "Oh yeah, we perceive him as this, so yeah, let's give him that opportunity." So I've not been given that opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's achieved as much as, virtually all the managers who've gone in there and got high-profile jobs. He's achieved exactly what captain his country. He's won the Premier League. He's done many different things. But yeah, he starts at the lowest level and he's cut his teeth. He's cut his teeth and just wants the opportunity at a higher level.
Yeah. Is there any, managers that you'd love to, you're sort of currently in the Premier League or Championship or wherever you might look to go that you'd like to work under as a coach? You think, I'd really like to work under them?
I look at Klopp,
mm-hmm.
Guardiola, Brendan Rodgers. I look at those and I think, there's something about those.
Mm-hmm.
I think they naturally, of course, they can all get you playing to the peak of your ability. But I think just looking from the outside, looking in, they've all got something about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Well, Andy, it's been amazing talking to you today. I mean, what would you say to people that are perhaps at the minute going through this pandemic isolation? I've been there as well. We had our struggling moments. Any message that you can give them to sort of help them get through that?
Oh man, perseverance is the key.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Of course, it's tough. You can't sit and say, "Oh no, it is tough." It's very, very tough. I've been, during this time, I've realised good people. Good people, and the ones who are prepared to stick around, and when I wasn't allowed out, dropping food off for me, and all those kind of things. You realise in periods like this, when you always think that, oh yeah, he's my mate, and then it's only when you get to find yourself in a position that you realise the true people stand up. And I've realised through this pandemic that real people have really stood up for me. Mm-hmm. So you've got to try and surround yourself with good people, mentally, physically. You've got to try and draw good, positive energy of people. Because the people around you, if they're not good people, they end up sapping your energy. So you've got to be around good, positive people who want to try and see you grow and see you become a better person, and vice versa. So yeah, perseverance is the key, and make sure you've got good people around you.
Brilliant. Well, thanks so much, Andy. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and yeah, let's hope England do all right in the Euros.
Yeah, definitely.
Cheers. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.